So I've gone ahead and preheated my oven to 400 degrees. While that's preheating, I went ahead and chopped up all of my zucchini. I'm going to add this into a skillet with a little bit of olive oil and about one small onion, which is going to be my frozen onions. And we're going to saute this before adding it to the casserole dish. So my zucchini is starting to cook and saute. So while this is going to take a little bit of time to brown, I'm going to go ahead and get started on slicing my tomatoes. So our zucchini and onions are coming along. I went ahead and added some of the beginning seasonings, which would be onion powder, red pepper flakes, garlic salt, garlic powder, and then black pepper. So they are all in. And we're going to go ahead and open up a can of cannellini beans, get them rinsed and drained, and they're going to go in with this mixture as well. So we have a 15-ounce can of cannellini beans. They've been rinsed and drained. What we're going to do is we're going to add them in to our zucchini, onions, and olive oil mixture. So in another container, we're going to take about 8 eggs, and we're going to whisk them together with some Parmesan cheese and some sharp cheddar cheese. And that's going to be all combined with the zucchini, the onions, the cannellini beans into our lovely casserole dish. So after you add the shredded cheese and the Parmesan cheese, we're going to also add a little bit of basil. Now I'm using dried basil, but you can also do some finely chopped fresh basil as well. And we're just going to whisk these all together. Now our zucchini, cannellini, and onion mixture is all finished cooking. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer this over into our casserole dish, and then we're going to top it with our new egg mixture that we just completed. So I'm mistaken. We need to add our sliced tomatoes on top of this mixture prior to putting our egg mixture on top. So now that we have our tomatoes layered on, I'm going to go ahead and begin pouring our egg mixture over it. You want to make sure we get every little nook and cranny too. Now I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle on a little bit more cheese because I do like cheese. And then I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper and a little bit more basil just to kind of top this off. This looks good so far. So we're placing this in the oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes or until it is golden, bubbly brown. Now you want to purchase the largest cabbage you can find because cabbage, just like all other greens, cooks down to be merely nothing. So you want to make sure that you have a pretty nice sized cabbage, and this is just going to show you how big this is in relation to my hand or how big this is in relation to my knife. It's a pretty nice size roll of cabbage. I went ahead and peeled off the first layer. I'm going to rinse this thoroughly, but then I'm going to take it and I'm going to slice it as if it was just any other vegetable. And then from there, I like to have those long pieces of cabbage. They'll cook better before I add them to my pot. Now you want to take a very nice large stock pot And at the bottom, you want to put olive oil, minced garlic, and some onions. So I already have my olive oil going. It's getting nice and warm. Minced garlic and my onions. And I'm just going to saute these just a little bit, just to break them down a little bit before I put my cabbage on top of these. So our garlic and our onions are starting to really warm up, which is good. I'm starting to see the garlic turn a little bit of brown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding in our cabbage. So I've added all of my cabbage in, and if I could really show you how big the stock pot is, it's a pretty nice size stock pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this, and I'm going to let this cook for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to come in and stir it and make sure that the cabbage is cooking evenly all throughout. Again, you do want to cover this recipe while it's cooking because we need the water that is within the cabbage to kind of help to steam it. And then we want the olive oil and the garlic and the onions at the bottom to kind of infuse its way all the way up through the cabbage as well. So it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and open up our beautiful cabbage. I don't know if you can really see it due to all of the steam, but it is cooking beautifully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to turn this a couple times. Oh yes, our lovely cabbage at the bottom is getting brown. See, look at that. So I'm going to turn this over a couple times and let it continue to cook on another 10-minute cycle. So finish flipping. Now I'm going to place the lid back on and allow it to cook for another 10 minutes. And I will be checking this momentarily. So I just got the buzzer for our zucchini tomato bake, and it looks beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out the oven, and let's get a look at it. I think the one thing that excites me the most about cooking is seeing the finished product, seeing all the ingredients come together to make a meal. And sometimes I love just to kind of hear the sizzle of things still cooking. So a lot of times that's why I don't turn the sound down on videos, because I love to hear the sounds of cooking. And then I also love the sweet aromas that are in your home. So one of the greatest treasures I have is the moment that Jeremy walks in the door from school, especially on Mondays. He's sniffing. He's like, oh my goodness, it smells so good. What did you cook today? So the excitement of smelling cooking and doing cooking and seeing cooking is like my life's greatest joy. So another 10 minutes has gone by, and we are going to continue to move this cabbage around. Oh, I wish you guys could smell it. It smells wonderful. So I'm going to continue to kind of rotate this around. Oh, you can kind of see it a little bit more cooking down, the garlic and the onions and the cabbage. It's all coming together. So I'm going to do another mix and then another cook for 10 minutes. And then we are going to add a combination of regular paprika and smoked paprika to this cabbage. So I'm getting ready to season my cabbage because, again, another 10 minutes have gone by. I'm going to use some garlic salt, some regular paprika, smoked paprika. Now, if you look at it, the color is way more rich. And if you smell it, it really has like this smoky flavor scent to it. It's actually, I love using that one. And then a little bit of onion powder and then some black pepper. So here's our cabbage. Again, you can kind of see the more and more that we open up the container, you can see that the cabbage is starting to cook down a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to start sprinkling in some of my seasonings. So that's my onion powder. This is my smoked paprika. Again, it's that rich color that we see here. And then we're going to go for a little bit of normal paprika. Kind of gives it a little bit more duller red. And then we're going to go with some garlic, salt, and then we're going to top it off with some black pepper. Now, our cabbage is pretty much done. You can kind of test it by seeing if there's any pieces that aren't easily to bite through, unless you like your cabbage to be a little bit firm when you're eating it. This is kind of like a sauteed fried cabbage, so it should be a little bit more softer to taste or softer to bite through. But this is pretty much done. This is the color that we're looking for. You want to stay honest to the green, but then you also want to see the seasonings kind of be in part, and then also some caramelization as well that's going through with the caramel of the onions and the garlic and some of the pieces of the cabbage. So this is pretty much done, and you kind of can see through it. I love it. You get a nice little variety of the cabbage, and you can kind of see what the bottom looks like. That's the water that was generated from this cabbage. So bonus cooking tip for those who are meat eaters: at the very beginning of this recipe, while you're cooking your minced garlic and your onions, go ahead and throw in about 6 slices of bacon and cook it up, and then you will have a nice bacon flavored fried cabbage to kind of go off of as well. Those of you who aren't red meat eaters or don't prefer the other white meat, you can cook this with shrimp, with chicken. I've seen salmon kind of laid on top of it before. So, I mean, there's some other things that you can kind of do with this. This can be a side dish. This can be your main dish. Or this can just be merely for presentation purposes as you eat other bigger portions of other proteins. So this is all that I have for today. Thank you for watching my videos today. Looks yummy. Getting ready to taste it.